Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am describing the current situation of Pangong Lake, also describing importance of lake according to previous history. On Pangong Lake, Chinese and Indian fleets square off at 14,000 feet. Far away from the seas, an important and overlooked maritime confrontation is underway on the roof of the world. As China and India face off across their mountainous Himalaya border, an arms race is underway at the Pangong Tso, a large alpine lake. The contested China-India border bisects Pangong Tso, with China controlling about two-thirds of brackish, 83-mile-long body of water. Spanned by the contested line of control, the waters of Pangong Tso are subjected to patrol boat incursions and seasonal border confrontations. After a bit of a pause in 2018, our conflict resumed in 2019, with Indian and Chinese troops engaging in end-of-season hand-to-hand combat in and around Pangong Tso. In May 2020, immediately after the winter thaw, confrontations resumed, culminating last month in the worst outbreak of border violence in decades. While our conflict in the area has, for now, halted after a fatal June confrontation in the nearby Galwan Valley, both sides are digging in and bringing in reinforcements, including vessels. Conflict is likely to resume, and the prospect of a maritime battle at 13,400 feet on this picturesque and strategically placed alpine lake, part of a larger five-lake association, merits a closer look. As an easy, almost consequence-free place to do battle, heroic maritime actions on isolated inland waters can be instrumental in forging a maritime tradition and jump-starting naval investments. A beautiful battlefield. Pangong Tso in itself is a desolate piece of water, a long and narrow salt lake that freezes over every year, rounded in winter by piles of blown ice 8 to 10 feet high. In 1905, geologist Ellsworth Huntington described the lake as exquisitely beautiful, a sparkling sheet of the clearest, deepest blue that rival or even excel the most famous lakes of Italy or Switzerland. A backdrop for Three Idiots, a 2009 Indian cinematic blockbuster, the area has captured the imagination of the Indian public, driving tourism and development. But the line of control, the contested border area, bisects Pangong Tso. Indian and Chinese soldiers battle on the lake's northern shore, where contested mountainous ridges or fingers serenade the beautiful lakeside and patrol craft just in the blue waters. It is almost routine. For years, the environs around the lake have been subjected to aggressive probes, border incursions, and violent standoffs. On the lake itself, two small navies have jostled for position with waterborne incursions, resulting in confrontation ranging from shouted epithets to high-speed chases and even the ramming of opposing vessels. A good account of a routine confrontation is detailed in the Telegraph of Indian Online here. The situation has steadily decayed. In 1999, when India was preoccupied with the Pakistan border, China built a permanent track along the lake and in that time started operating 22 small armed patrol boats on the lake. According to an 8 September 2009 Financial Express article, these were smaller vessels seating 5 to 7 soldiers that outnumbered and outmaneuvered Indians two slower and larger lake patrol boats. Then in 2000, Chinese rammed Indian patrol boats, and in April 2013, over 20 Chinese boats made a 10-kilometer deep incursions on the Indian side of the lake. In response, India procured 17 QRT Quick Reaction Team boats to replace the older vessels, and by late 2012 had begun to deploy capable ballistically protected Tempest 35 SPC patrol boats built in United States by Tampa Yacht Manufacturing. According to a 3 October 2012 article in the Economic Times, the lake boats of the People's Liberation Army had been virtually running circles around Indian troops handicapped by slow, outdated vessels. By 2012, these new QRT boats called Tempest helped turn back a coordinated Chinese border incursions by both land and lake units. The maritime arms race continued as China apparently deployed heavier Type 928B patrol boats. In 2018, China announced the deployment of surveillance radars and a new non-metallic patrol boat with a top speed of 40 km per hour and can withstand collisions with large pieces of ice. Other recent reports suggest that more wall-like Type 928D patrol boats have arrived at the lake. In late 2019, a September scuffle on land escalated into the lake, where 3 Indian and 2 Chinese boats were damaged. In May of this year, Indian sources started complaining that the Chinese were patrolling more aggressively and bringing more boats to the lake. In late June, reports indicated that the Chinese had built defensive features along the ridgeline, finger for feature building bunkers, and a marina-like facade near the lake. Thousands of troops have poured into the area, while talks to defuse the confrontation and to prevent ramming incidents are ongoing. The arms race is continuing. India is now planning to bring in a dozen high-speed interceptors that, according to the 2 July 2020 Times of India, may have to be dismantled and airlifted by C-17 Globemaster III aircraft. Upon arrival, these boats may be supplemented by landing craft to facilitate Indian mobility along the lake and around the zone of control.